Okay, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about debt, and before we move on, I just kind of want to do this quick review thing. You can find it on page 3 of that first section in your Understanding Credit unit. Alright, so since we talked all about debt in the last video, let's kind of do this quick question and answer thing. All debt is bad. What did we say in our last discussion about that? So we did say that some debt can actually help you get ahead later in life. So we talked about investing in your education can get you a better job. Buying a house could increase in value. A car could get you to work. So not all debt is bad. Some of it can use to make more money for you in the long run. Next question, having debt can increase your wealth. So that kind of goes hand in hand. How we talked about, again, getting that college education, furthering yourself so that you can get a better job once you graduate, and buying a house that increases in value over the years. Those are all ways that debt can increase your wealth. Next question, using your credit card to pay for all of your extra items you want and can't afford during the month is a good use of credit. Hopefully right now you guys are like, red flag. Paying for extras with the credit card can have a disastrous consequence on you, and you could end up paying for these purchases for years. And we're gonna again go over kind of how using credit cards can really like stretch out the length of time that you're paying for something. Next question, it's difficult to get out of financial trouble. Yes, a lot of people either know somebody in their family or a family friend that's had financial issues, and they are usually willing to kind of discuss that with you, and just to let you know that it takes years to get out of some financial situations. So by you guys taking this class now and hopefully preventing yourself from getting in those situations, you can be, like I said, way ahead of the game. So that's what our goal is, to kind of prevent you from falling into those poor financial habits in the first place. Next question, online banking is a convenient way to manage your money. That's actually what we're going to talk about next, but we'll go ahead and look at that. Most banks offer you ways to keep track of your money on a daily basis, and that can help you avoid going into debt. So you can kind of check your balance or check your accounts daily to see where you're at. And again, that's what we're going to talk about more today. So let's zoom along here to the next slide. Okay, online banking. So some advantages. This gives customers the option to view their balances, see recent activity, complete financial transactions. I take full advantage of our online banking system through our bank. We have like automatic bills that get paid through our bank. I check our account every day just to make sure that there's no transactions going through that I'm not aware of. And that just really helps for me to manage our money and know where all of our money is going. The activity is immediately posted to your online account. So sometimes if you make a deposit and it might not go through, but you'll see on the online bank exactly when that deposit goes through. Same with like checks that have been written. And it's convenient. If you have a computer with internet, which most people do these days, you can log in and see your account activities. So very convenient. Some disadvantages now. So obviously there are always going to be hackers out there in the World Wide Web trying to get into your information. And banks and banks and a lot of other really secure institutions have really high security standards when it comes to preventing hackers, but it can still happen. So that's definitely a risk that you might be taking. Sometimes you might not have access to a computer or internet, so that could be a disadvantage if you're trying to figure out where your finances are. It's not as personal, so some people like to just deal person to person or to actually speak to an individual about their accounts and stuff. So obviously you're kind of losing that when you're doing your online banking. But, a lot of They call them brick and mortar banks, meaning that there's actually a building that you would go to. Like my bank, I have a brick and mortar, and then they also have an online function. So it's kind of nice to get the best of both worlds in that aspect. But there are some banks that are purely online. You might have heard of Ally. There's a lot of commercials for Ally right now, bank, and that's like a strict online type of banking. So there are some full online banks. There are a lot of banks that where you can do both online and have a building, and then there are some banks that are just a building. So when you go to sign up for an account, or when you go to become a member of a bank, those might be some things you want to think about. What do you like when you're dealing with your finances? Identity theft. You've probably heard this term a time or two, just because um, the more that internet becomes a daily part of everyone's lives, the more risk you are for identity theft, and not just on the internet. If you lose your social security card, someone can easily swipe it and get a lot of your information, access a lot of your accounts. To avoid it altogether, here's a good piece of advice. Lock your financial documents and records in a safe place at home. We have a safe box that we keep our birth certificates, social security cards, a lot of that stuff in, and it's like fireproof and damage proof and all that stuff. So we can, it'll survive those world disasters if they ever come around. Limit what you carry. Do not carry your social security card around. Do memorize your number, because more often than not, you're a number rather than a name. So memorize your number, but do not carry your card around, because if you lose it, you are just kind of setting yourself up for identity theft. Shred any receipts that contain personal information so people can't piece them together and get some info. Alert to impersonators. Again, this is where why I keep a close eye on our bank account, just so I know someone else isn't using it. Keep passwords private. Don't overshare on social networking sites. So many people don't even realize all of the information that they're putting out there on Facebook, on Twitter. And you'll see that I've seen lots of updates lately on Facebook where like they're changing their privacy settings, so make sure you have to go in and click this and this and this. Don't share your address. I wouldn't even share your phone number. In no way should you be sharing your like social security number. But in all of that kind of seems like duh. But you'd be surprised how many people don't realize that. So as soon as someone asks for it, they're like, oh yeah, here's my social security number. Have at it. So just be smart when you're handling private information. Okay, so those were all ways for you to help avoid identity theft. But if it does still happen, there are some steps you need to take, and take quickly. You'll need to place a fraud alert on your account with the 3 national credit reporting companies. So we're going to talk about those companies here in a little bit, but just know that you'll want to inform them that someone else has your card or your information or is impersonating you. Order your credit reports. So as soon as you realize that ID theft is going on, order your credit report so you can see exactly the transactions that you know you made and the transactions that you know you haven't made. And then you're going to want to create an identity theft report. So this will help you with credit reporting companies, debt collectors, businesses that gave your identity thief credit under your name. You don't have to pay. If someone used your credit card and spent $2,000, you are not obligated to pay that $2,000, but it's going to take some work from you to prove that it wasn't you, to prove that someone else had your card and was spending it. And we're actually going to hear from Dave Ramsey more later about how to handle identity theft, but it is something you'll need to nip in the bud right away. It is a lot of time and effort on your part, so that's why it's so important to just kind of avoid it altogether as much as you can. But it still does happen. My sister is very secure with her information, and she noticed someone in California was buying, it was like at a gas station, and somehow got her credit card information. So she had to stop her credit card, pull her credit report, kind of show the credit card company that it wasn't her, and she was credited that money back. But it is a lot of work. So unfortunately, It is unfortunate that it takes so much time and effort, but again, just avoid it in the first place. Okay, so that is it for this kind of second lesson of the first section in understanding credit. So I'll stop it here and pick up with the next section called Managing Credit and Short-Term Debt.